Okay, 2 down. Andrea, what comes next week?
Well, opposition Mark Golding, popularly known as Marky G, during the budget presentation, should be responding on Tuesday, March, I think that's the 15th. So we look forward to that.
All right, thank you so much for your coverage. We go to other news now. Two former ministers of national security, Robert Montague and Peter Bunting, have taken issue with the Integrity Commission's report on the probe into the granting of gun licenses by the Firearm Licensing Authority FLA between 2012 and 2018. Mr. Montague and Mr. Bunting were flagged for approving licenses for persons with criminal traces who were initially found unfit to hold a firearm by the FLA. Mr. Montague approved 6 such licenses and Mr. Bunting 2. Now, in a statement today, Mr. Montague said the Integrity Commission's report is grossly misrepresentative and incomplete. He said he was not given the opportunity to respond to what the Commission sought to assert as facts. According to Mr. Montague, the report also failed to take into consideration that his actions were informed and guided by the recommendation of a panel of experts, which he asked to assist in assessing appeals made to him in his capacity as Minister of National Security. He has referred the Integrity Commission's report to his lawyers for further review. Now, in a statement this afternoon, Peter Bunting shed light on 2 firearm application appeals which occurred while he was National Security Minister. He said in one case it involved a person who had been charged 10 years earlier with cocaine-related offenses while they were a student in Florida and whose record was subsequently expunged. The second case involved an individual who had been accused of molesting his wife's relative. Mr. Bunting says this was told to the investigator, but a formal report was never made to the police. Mr. Bunting says based on his recollection, the Firearm Review Board recommended that the licenses be granted or restored, and as minister, he acted in accordance with their recommendations. Now, the Firearm Licensing Authority FLA was the focus of lawmakers as they scrutinized the proposals under the new firearms bill for a second successive day. We have the details in this report.
The latest controversy facing the FLA coincided with Thursday's discussions about the agency in Gordon House. Members of the Joint Select Committee, who are examining the new firearms bill, explained that they wanted to ensure the FLA avoids problems, and one way to do this is to have a competent board.
So there are other issues about the performance of the board and some of the comments that have come in and issues around the timeliness with which matters are dealt with, and just the energy of the board.
Committee member Fitzjackson added that the person who serves as chairman of the FLA must be of unquestionable integrity, especially in the eyes of the public.
If John Brown was involved in some gun activity, manufacturing of bullets, some things that was untoward, even though it has not been resolved in a conviction, I believe for the purposes of ensuring that it is above the activities of the FLA under this person's watch is above reproach. Such kind of antecedents should be disqualified.
But Senator Shireen Golding Campbell said while she understands the members' fears, perception should not be enough to exclude someone from the role of FLA chairman.
But I have to caution against any attempt to put into law that we would make decisions restricting citizens of Jamaica from performing roles on the basis of basically rumors and suggestions as opposed to a conviction in a court of law. That is not a principle that I understand us to have operated by.
In the meantime, committee chairman Dr. Horace Chang indicated that the FLA was a major revenue earner for the state.
FLA makes a significant profit and contributes to the consolidated fund on an annualized basis, anywhere from $3 to $7 billion, $200 to $700 million. You had a gap last year because of COVID, but that's the normal return. They fund themselves and have a surplus. And they do involve a number of activities and services required that they pay for. and pay well.
Under the new firearms legislation, the FLA would continue to play a critical role in the country's legal firearm industry. Javon Keys, TVJ News.
Still to come this evening, cops to zero in on persons funding criminal activities. And in business news, rating agency Fitch upholds Jamaica's B+ IDR rating. We'll be right back.